What's good, people? So we're back. We've got the Harley Benton Black 7, as I've dubbed this thing. Victory plus BK Vintage Series Flying V. Here with us. It's back from the tech. We've had a few upgrades. We've got it set up. It's playing an awful lot better than it did when we first got it. So let's just take a quick look over what we've done so far. So when I got this guitar, there was a few issues with it. Okay, there was a couple of cosmetic issues. The main one being up near the headstock here. You can see that they have just masked it off slightly too much, or not enough perhaps, and they've missed a bit, and you can see a bit of bare wood through, yeah, next to the binding. It's not a huge deal. I can live with it, given the price of this guitar. It was £169. What I couldn't live with, though, was the nut. So the nut was a plastic nut. It's going to be. They didn't even specify it on the website, so it's going to be plastic. There's no way in hell this thing's bone or tusk or anything. I decided to go for an Earvana Compensated Nut. The initial nut that it came with, it was okay. I mean, it was actually... There was no sharp edges at all on it, but... a couple of the slots could have been refined. There was a couple of higher strings which caused them to be sharp up near the nut, even though it was intonating just fine up at the 12th. We just decided to, you know, we're going to upgrade this thing anyway, replace the nut, just get shot of it straight off the bat. So I've got an Earvana nut installed. The frets themselves, whilst the ends were fairly decent, they could use a tiny bit of refinement, and I mean tiny. They really was not bad whatsoever, but now this thing is so smooth you could deep throat it and probably come to no harm. I wouldn't recommend it, but everything's a sex toy if you're brave enough. There were a few frets that were high. This caused the strings to choke just when you was playing normal notes, not bending, anything like that. A few of the strings did choke. So we had the frets leveled, reprofiled, and it's all lovely. The actual fretboard on this thing was slightly compounded. It was slightly bizarre because it was almost definitely not intended to be a compound radius, not at this price point. However, the fretboard seemed to vary slightly. It was about, from what I can remember, it was about a 12-inch radius. The bridge, however, was radius to a 14 or closer to a 14. This caused specifically the G and D strings to be quite high. Not too high, but they were higher than they needed to be once this guitar was set up. So what we actually did was re-radius the bridge saddles to match the fretboard profile closer, and it's just made for an overall nicer playing experience. As I mentioned in a previous video, the string ferrules on the back of the guitar, they were just completely loose. As soon as you took the strings off and out, these things just fell out. Absolutely no resistance, they just fell out. So we got these glued in. The other modification that we've done was the tuners, the machine heads. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see them very well. I'll take some close-ups. However, they are Graphtech Ratio Locking Tuners. At the back, we've actually sprayed the mounting brackets black, so that they better blend in. They come in a standard silver metal color. We've sprayed them black so that they blend in a bit better. The actual bridge, we tried to get it the bushings mounted flusher to the guitar body, although I did specify it wasn't a huge deal as long as it was stable, because the next modification that we've got lined up for this guitar is to replace the bridge, so there was no point spending too much time on it at this stage. This thing's playing a lot better than it was out of the box. It wasn't playing terribly out of the box, but with these refinements it has honestly improved it by 100%. It's been great. Will it rival a Gibson at this stage, a Gibson Flying V? No, of course it won't, because this is a £170 guitar with a few upgrades chucked at it and a setup. Don't get me wrong, this thing plays fantastically, much better than the first guitar, which is a Stag. You can probably see it hanging up behind me, which the truss rod's broken. It's been up there as a wall piece for years now. This thing beats it by 100 miles. Next up on the list of modifications for this guitar, there's actually two that I'm sort of running concurrently. I've got a piece on order from America. It's gonna take about 6 weeks to get here. That part is a kill switch. There's a company in America, I think it's called Iron Gear kill switches. They make awesome looking kill switches. I've never had a kill switch on a guitar, and I figured that why not go ahead and just you know, put one on this guitar. It looks as though initially we're gonna have enough space on the guitar in the cavity to do this, and they're very simple and easy to fit. So what I'm going to do next though is actually have a Tone Pros bridge installed. I'm going to go for a black one again, because I'm not going to change all the hardware on this to black. I'm going to leave the gold because I do quite like it. However, I do also like things to look a bit mixed up, to make it look like it's mine, like it's not just stock. We're also going to get these bushings sorted out. We're going to have a custom poker chip made for it, as well as a custom cavity control plate. I've just got a little idea that I think is going to be quite a nice feature to have on this guitar, and I'm also going to have it shielded at the same time, because this one currently has no shielding. So I'm going to gut the electronics completely. All of the wiring, the pots, everything's going to go. TB6 distortion accessor trembucker. The pole pieces are spaced slightly wider so that they line up underneath the strings a little bit better. For the bridge, I'm gonna go for the SH6N, so the Duncan distortion neck humbucker. I wanted it to have a gold cover because I like the look of a zebra in the bridge, but retaining some of the gold up at the neck here so it looks a little bit rat rod. The problem with that is you cannot seem to buy, at least in England, an SH6N with a gold cover on it. So I'm going to have to do it the hard way. I'm going to buy an SH6N in standard black, and I've got a Seymour Duncan gold humbucker cover on order from Thomann. So once those two bits arrived, I can get that sorted and we can get the pickups changed. I'm going to replace all of the pots, likely just going to be CTS pots. I'm going to get a different jack in there, probably a Switchcraft jack under there. I'm just going to improve the electronics. But until then, keep your eyes posted. These upgrades are going to be coming over the next few months. No later than probably 3 months down the line, this thing should be completely kitted out exactly how we want it. Keep an eye on it. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Turn off your notifications if you don't want to hear about all the bollocks. But subscribe because it helps me out. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. Have fun.